Hey, what's up, guys? How you all going? And to those of you who celebrate Easter, happy Easter. I hope you're all enjoying yourself on this public holiday today, especially if you're in Australia. And if you're wondering about the boxes in the back, I had to pick up some more stuff from the house that I used to live in with my ex-wife. But great news, I got my cat back. I got my Sydney Migmeow back. It's my boy. I'm so excited about that. I've been just chilling with him for the last couple of days. But something else I've been working with over the weekend is a video. And I've been telling you guys, I've been teasing you with it over the last couple of weeks, saying I got something big coming for you. It's almost ready to go. But for now, let's get to the article. Single mum beat ex and dragged him like a rag doll during row overseeing son. Paris Beaumont, 24, launched the furious attack on Andrew Kendall, 29, after the school run in Wythenshawe, Manchester. Now, surprisingly, this actually got recognized for what it was, which was a female attack on women. Sorry, female attack on a man. Normally doesn't happen under the Duluth response model. But fortunately, because they didn't live together, maybe it didn't count as domestic violence. Who knows? Whatever. Let's get into this. And this is just one sec. And this is why, guys, you got to be so careful, especially when you got a child involved with an ex-partner. You've got to be so careful that you try and remain on as good terms as possible, even if it pisses you off, because this is the kind of shit that happens when you're not on good terms. A single mum beat up her father and dragged him around the street like a rag doll after she threw a childish temper tantrum at him during a feud about seeing their son. Paris Beaumont, 24, who'd been celebrating her birthday, slapped and kicked Andrew Kendall in a violent rage. Let him walk past her home on the opposite side of the road after dropping off their 8-year-old child at primary school. So that means she was pregnant at 15. If it's an 8-year-old child and she's 24 now. That was always going to be a problem. During the 9 a.m. school run assault, Beaumont stormed half-dressed out of her property in Wythenshawe, Manchester, ran across the carriageway, then shouted, "I want to see my kid! It's my birthday!" Me. You know how it goes. She then grabbed Mr. Kendall by the throat, slapped him in the face, and kicked out at him. Mr. Kendall tried to calm down the blonde, but when the attack continued, he was forced to ring 999, saying, "Something needs to happen because I'm going to lose my head with her. She's not my ex, she's just my baby's mum. She just started grabbing me, my face, my neck, my coat, everything. My kids are shit scared. This is what she's like. She does it every single day. She gives my finance abuse when she goes. She gives my finance abuse. Well, probably. But I don't know. This sentence doesn't make sense. I'm going to read it as it is anyway. This gives my finance abuse when she goes to collect the kids from school. This keeps happening. This article is linked in the low bar below, guys. Police later charged Beaumont with 2 separate assaults on Mr. Kendall 2 weeks apart in October and November last year, one in which she spat in his face. At Manchester Magistrates Court, she was convicted of both charges of assault by beating after a trial in which Mr. Kendall's 999 call was called, in which Beaumont could be heard screaming in the background. Smart man. He knew the call was going to get recorded. The pair had never been in a relationship and are thought to have had the child together following a one-night stand. The boy had been living with Mr. Kendall, who'd obtained an injunction against Mr. Beaumont. Against Beaumont following allegations of another assault. Recalling the first attack on October 24, Mr. Kendall, who lives with his fiancée and 5 children, said, "We had a knock on the door, and it's meant to be, it was Paris who was stood there, but there was no W on the was. This article was written by someone who didn't proof check it properly. From that moment, it was just an angry conversation, and it escalated to a point where she was kicking off, swearing at me and my fiancée, Kim, and then she spat in my face, punched me in my face, and then I used the right amount of force to get her out of the front door. She wanted to see the boy, but I just explained that the situation we were in meant she wasn't allowed to see him unsupervised. I tried to explain that to her, but obviously that didn't work out well. I tried to calm the situation down, which ended up in Paris swearing at Kim, "Fuck off, you slag." That's in the article. I didn't make that up. She then spat in my face and followed it up with a right hand punch. So this woman's being abusive to another woman as well. Reliving the second assault on November 7, he added, "I was taking the kids to school, dropped them off, and on my way back I passed Paris's address. The moment I got in view, she noticed me and came out. She automatically just jumped on me. A lot of shouting, grabbing me by the throat, giving me lots of aggro, shouting, kicking, grabbed my face, and we ended up from one side of the road to the other because of how much she was dragging me. It was along the lines of, how can I stop her from seeing my son? Obviously, I tried to explain the situation, being it wasn't under my control, but she grabbed my throat to begin with, obviously still kicking and screaming. Then she's grabbed my coat. It must have been 10 minutes of being dragged around like a rag doll. I was on the phone trying to phone the police, but she tried to take the phone off me. I was hot and flustered in the face from where I'd been slapped. I was hit up to 10 to 15 times. Police said officers went to arrest Beaumont at her home at 6 a.m. and she became angry and aggressive. At the police station, she screamed in her cell and banging on the door and shouting, "Fuck off." But Beaumont told the hearing, "The police dragged me out of bed and treated me like a criminal." I was like, if you're going to treat me like an animal, I'm going to act like an animal. Yeah, that's a really good way to find yourself in a bad situation if you're the one that's caused a problem. Denying wrongdoing over the school run assault. Of course she did, because zero accountability. She said, "I have been half dressed making a brew when I saw Andrew and said, I want to see my son as it was my birthday. But he said, definitely not after what happened the other week, and said the police were looking for me." So, two conflicting stories, of course. He said, "I've fucking had enough of this." And I said, "You've had enough? I've had enough. I just want to see my kid." And look, you know what? If I was a dude and I was not allowed to see my kid, I get it. But that's no excuse for this kind of behavior on either side. And then the police were on the phone. I said, "I've got nothing to hide," and I went back into my house crying, thinking I want to see my kid. I was frustrated. I was getting a bit angry. I just wanted answers and saying, "Why are you making everything hard?" I didn't even touch his phone. Sure, you didn't touch his phone while he was calling the police and you were screaming in the background. Because, you know, I'm pretty sure they wouldn't have a recording of you screaming in the background if you weren't screaming in the background while he was on the phone. But prosecutor David Morgan said, "Her conduct at the police station gives a much better impression of how she reacts when she doesn't get what she wants." Exactly. Narcissist. That's a true reflection of how she reacts when she doesn't get what she wants. Finding Beaumont guilty, JPs said, "Andrew Kendall was reliable and credible, and whilst obviously nervous, he was clear. We listened to the 999 call in which we could hear you screaming in the background. Police described the behavior in the police station, spitting, kicking doors, and screaming loudly. We did feel that you underplayed your behavior and your perception of the events weren't supported by the evidence. Beaumont will be sentenced next month." So guys, what do you think of this lack of accountability in this woman's behavior? What do you think about this nonsense that went on and the blatant lies to get out of trouble, which seems to happen a hell of a lot when it comes to women, especially when it involves custody? I don't know. It's not my call. I'm going to make it your call. Leave your comments in the video below after this live finishes. Make sure that you smash that thumbs up button if you haven't already. And if you haven't yet subscribed, hit the subscribe button below and bang the bell next to it. In fact, smash the bell like Kate Mulvey smashed the wall. And catch you guys soon. I appreciate you all.